Hi, Nick Riley, Bonafide Support Services. So building on the high performance culture development, a key aspect is that everybody wants to be heard. So in times of great change like now, feedback and buy-in, commitment and trust more than ever are critical. So you need to make sure you're hearing your employees. If someone has something to say and they're not afforded the opportunity or it's delayed, they'll disconnect. So the thinking goes, if my thoughts don't matter, then I probably don't matter here, and I'll just shut up and take my money and turn up every day. So leaders should always have their radars up to capture risks, uncertainties, and opportunities, and employees should be a major source of intelligence on all those fronts. So if you're not hearing them, you're missing a lot of valuable intelligence from everyone they deal with too. So that's a lot of feedback that should be really valuable to your business. There's three key elements of good employee communication, and giving people time to share their thoughts is where it starts. That lets you start to build the trust by genuinely listening and hearing, and if people recognize that, and even if they're worried about trust, they can then raise it. So you're being transparent and honest about what you'll do and why you're going to do it. That's as a manager in a one-to-one context. The key for successfully building that high-performance culture is, as leaders, you need to receive and collate that feedback. It's a key element of your opportunity, uncertainty, and risk intelligence management. So when people talk about internal communication and employee engagement, the default action is to build broadcasting channels, but you should always start with your listening channels, and that's going to inform what you say and what messages you put out. So if you're going to measure what matters on this front, you should have a mix of measurable, quantitative and qualitative feedback available to your leadership team. And number one has got to be, are your channels working? Is there any traffic in them? So if your broadband's down, for instance, no traffic, you're severely impaired in terms of how you operate. And it's no different with that employee voice. If you're not getting it, you're missing out on a lot of feedback that should be steering the ship. So the qualitative element should ideally be in its raw form. So just beware, many leaders suffer from no feedback, or they get a heavily sanitized version. So just beware of truth to power issues. In quantitative terms, it's about identifying trends. Are there gaps? Because that may indicate blockages where there's management issues, and also communication effectiveness. So many people are frustrated to find that their message is not actually getting to the frontline staff, which is actually better than people who are blissfully ignorant of that fact. So there's no point in doing all the hard yards of hearing those thoughts and opinions and then doing nothing with them. To keep that truth and trust going, if people have their voice again, they need to know it's valued, so you've got to close those loops. You can't do something with every idea or opinion, and you do need a level of filtering and control by the management level. But people have got to feel they're invited to the conversation and there's been resolution of the issues they've raised. So they should, and the managers should, listen, explore, and try and pull out what the value proposition that's being put across is, and then have a resolution, which it's got to be ultimately a yes or a no. But with that, there should be a because, and we're doing, and let's build, and okay, let's return to, never leave it hanging. So ensuring employees have that voice and that it's heard is a key building block for that high performance culture. It's a dialogue, not a monologue. So if you want to discuss opportunities to improve your bottom lines using these projects and techniques and approaches, please do get in touch for a free initial assessment. And meanwhile, thanks very much for listening, and I hope you stay well. So it's Nick Riley, Bonafide Support Services.